This is the story of the petrifying pool party. Don't turn out the lights. It was a hot summer day. So hot, it almost felt like everything was moving in slow motion. Justine, his parents, and his 4 brothers sipped cold lemonade as they all played cards. Then suddenly, Justine's phone dinged. It was a text from a number he didn't know. The text read, "Hey, it's Mark. I'm having a pool party tomorrow. You should come." Mark was a year older than Justine and the coolest kid in his grade. Mark was also an only child, so his parents let him throw the best pool parties. Justine had never been to a pool party before. He couldn't wait. The next day, Justine's mom handed him the swim bag she had carefully packed. "Just be careful. Mark lives all the way at the top of the hill. They're a little weird up there," his mom warned. Justine began walking up the big hill to Mark's house. Is the top of the hill really that different from the bottom? He thought. Finally, he was at Mark's house. It was very quiet. "I'm so glad to see you," Mark exclaimed. Something in the pit of Justine's stomach got tight. Justine had never talked to Mark at school. Why is Mark so glad to see him? He thought. But then the shimmering blue pool caught Justine's eye, and he forgot all about that feeling in his stomach. "Do you want a snow cone?" "They're cherry," Mark asked invitingly. "That's my favorite flavor," Justine said, and he excitedly took the snow cone. Red cherry ice ran down his face as Justine took his first bite. Mom's right, he thought. The top of the hill is different, and Justine liked it. He took another, even bigger bite. Suddenly, the whole world got foggy, and all Justine could think about was the pain in his head. Must have been a brain freeze. Justine ran towards the pool and did a big cannonball into the water. When he finally came to the surface, his head was still throbbing. Looking around the party for the first time, Justine realized he didn't see any other kids. Where was everyone? Mark was the coolest kid in school. "Where is everybody?" Justine asked politely. "Oh, everyone is coming later," casually replied Mark, before doing his own cannonball into the pool. Mark popped up from under the water. "It's so cool you have so many brothers. I've always wanted a brother," said Mark. Mark and Justine played in the pool for hours. But every time Justine got out of the pool for another snow cone, the whole backyard was still empty. In fact, he didn't even hear the doorbell ring once. Did Mark invite anyone else? As the sun started to go down, Justine smelled a barbecue. He remembered it was dinner time back at the bottom of the hill. "I should be home for dinner," Justine yelled to Mark. "You have so many brothers. Your parents probably wouldn't even notice if you were a little late," Mark replied. "They would definitely notice," Justine laughed, still walking towards the gate. "It's not fair you have 4 brothers and I never even got one," Mark called after him calmly. Justine laughed awkwardly and let himself out of the gate, leaving Mark's big house and pool behind. But which direction was his own house? Justine looked around hoping something would give him a clue, but all the perfectly manicured green lawns looked the same. Justine couldn't get himself to focus on anything but his memories of the bright blue glow of the pool, the sound of splashing, and the taste of bright red cherry snow cone. Justine thought Mark's parents could help him find his way home, so he let himself back into the backyard. "I can't remember which way I live," Justine said. "What do you mean? You live here," Mark stated matter-of-factly. "What are you talking about? I need your parents to help me get home," Justine replied. "My parents? You mean our parents? You're my little brother," Mark asserted. That wasn't true. Mark was an only child, right? Justine clutched the fluffy towel his mom had packed him. Justine remembered the towel. He remembered the swim bag he carried all the way up the hill, but he couldn't remember his house at all now. Mark tried to give Justine a reassuring hug, but Justine squirmed in Mark's arms, knocking something out of Mark's pocket. Mark leapt to grab it. Justine got there first. It was a little glass vial. The label read, "Warning, memory loss potion." The bright red liquid inside smelled just like cherry. "Why would you do this?" pleaded Justine. "Come on, Mom's barbecuing tonight," said Mark, leading Justine into the house. Justine walked. He tried to remember his dad and his brothers. He couldn't picture them at all now. Justine tried to remember his mom, but he couldn't picture her face either. He looked down at the towel she had packed him. It didn't feel familiar anymore. Maybe Mark was right? Maybe this is where he lived all along. I'm so glad to have a little brother, whispered Mark. I always wanted one.